barefooted kicker, getting ready to kick it away. Bright sunshine now. Breeze a bit to Tony's back, but as usual, his kicks are on the short side. This is Leon Bright at the 8. Bright across the 20, and Bright along the near sideline. Gets up across the 30 to the 32. Rod McSwain in on the tackle for the Patriots special teams. A 26-yard return for Bright.
Bright was knocked out of bounds by Rod McSwain.
And we'll take a look at Steve DeBerg in the Tampa Bay offense. James Wilder will run it. He'll catch it. He'll be their offense. Jerry Bell and Jimmy Giles, tight ends and U-backs. Kevin House we look for today with Gerald Carter, the wide receivers. This offensive line has only allowed DeBerg to be sacked 12 times. They're stronger on the left side with Yarno and Corson. First down at the 32 for the Bucs. Carter in motion. And of course, Wilder, the first handoff, and doesn't get much. Gang tackle by the Patriots defensive core. Gain of 2. Johnny Rembert in on the stop for the Patriots. And the Patriots defense, their front 3 as Julius Adams continues to get a start with Toby Williams injured. His front 3 mates are Dennis Owens and Kenneth Sims. Their linebackers, Don Blackman, although he's a bit injured, will start. Johnny Rembert in place of McGrew, who has that knee injury, and Nelson and Tippett. What a game Tippett had last week. And the defensive backs, Lippett and Claiborne and Marion and James. Teams like to work against Lippett. 2nd and 9. The 33, DeBerg throwing, and he's completing to Kevin House, and House has a first down. We said in our pregame introductions he'd be the man, Bob, and you're 1 for 1.
That's right, Len. You're going to see an example here of Ronnie Lippett giving a lot of room for Kevin House to work. You see Ronnie Lippett, 42 in the white jersey, backing off here, leaving big Andre Tippett to cover little quick Kevin House, and that's not going to work. You might see Kevin House catch a lot of balls today, Len.
Well, they say it's Kevin House time, that he does better after you turn the clocks back. So maybe there's something in his biological clock. So there he goes, 1 for 1 right off the bat after catching only 17 passes thus far. First down now at the Tampa Bay 47. Here's Wilder. Wilder across midfield. Wilder close to another first down near the Patriots 42 before Fred Marion ran him out on the far side. The NFL's leading rusher, all-time Tampa Bay running back. If he scores a touchdown today, he'll be their all-time point leader, James Wilder.
Len, he's an amazing guy. He's not only the league's leading rusher, he's the leading gainer yards from scrimmage, both running the ball and receiving. Here he gets outside, pretty good blocking inside, but a lot of speed for a big man. He's a throwback. If this were 20 years ago and playing two-way football, James Wilder would be a star linebacker as well.
That's right. An 11-yard pickup for Wilder in the one-back formation. First down at the Pats 42. The Bucs are moving. DeBerg overthrows, looking for Gerald Carter with Ronnie Lippett covering on the near side. So it's the first offensive play that really hasn't clicked for Tampa Bay thus far. They are a high-scoring team. Despite their 0-7 record, DeBerg put 38 points on the board against Miami in a losing cause last week in the Orange Bowl.
They've been a little sporadic over the last few games, Len. They've played hot and cold, and DeBerg had his finest game as a pro, as a Buccaneer last week, taking apart the Dolphins secondary. He did it largely to Jimmy Giles, the tight end.
That's right.
I think today he'll go more to his wideouts.
Giles had 4 touchdown catches last week. It's Jerry Bell in motion, 2nd and 10. Wilder, and he slips and goes down. Oh, I don't know if the turf is wet. We did have rain this morning, but Wilder's feet went out from under him, and maybe it is a bit slippery on the far side. This will be 3rd and 12 for the Bucs.
I don't think the ground conditions was a big factor there, Lynn. I think that Wilder had nowhere to run and out of desperation tried to cut back on the inside. What made that play for the Patriot defense was number 55, Big Don Blackman, who's playing today despite a very painful injury. Beat the block by the tight end, Jimmy Giles, and broke contain and left James Wilder with nowhere to run.
So there's House, and he's got Theo Bell, the former Steeler, and Gerald Carter. You see 2 wide receivers on the far side, and Carter goes in motion. 3rd and long, and DeBerg completes it to Theo Bell.
DeBerg's pass is complete to Theo Bell.
Simple little out pattern, Len. Ronnie Lippett again playing off the ball, giving Theo Bell plenty of room. You're going to see Theo Bell drive about 8-9 yards downfield on the right hand side of your screen. Ronnie Lippett playing too far off the ball. First down. Good play for the Buccaneers. So far, Lynn, an interesting balance of run and pass.
DeBerg mixing the plays up. They're signaled in from the sideline from one of the backup quarterbacks, Alan Risher. This is first down at the Patriots 30. We've played 2 minutes, and the Bucs are driving. Jerry Bell in motion. Wilder. Wilder has daylight. Another Tampa Bay first down inside the Patriots 20. Fred Marion finally caught up with Wilder.
Excellent blocking up front, Len. You're going to see the Buccaneers running to their left-hand side all day long today. At least they're going to try to. The reason for that is George Yarno on the left-hand side here. A little counter play. Wilder faking to his left, tucking into the left behind number 68. Rick Mallory there pulling and trapping, but the Buccaneers are going to be running primarily to their left today behind George Yarno and Steve Corson. They're two very underrated left side offensive linemen.
And Sean Farrell, their right guard, didn't even dress today. So that's another reason why they're going left. First down at the Pats 18. This time Wilder stacked up. Roland James finally grabbed him by the ankles after Kenneth Sims made the first hit in the backfield. So that time they stop him. He's already picked up 25 yards today, but it's interesting with Wilder. His first 4 games this year, he gained over 100 yards a game. The last 3, he has not reached the century mark.
No, he's not. He hasn't reached the century mark the last 3 games, but he had 98 yards and 96 yards last week against Miami. He's a factor. The real value of James Wilder is even when he's not carrying the ball, he opens up holes in the defense because they have to key on him.
2nd and 9 at the Patriots 16. DeBerg to Jimmy Giles. The ball is loose. Roland James falls on it. The Bucs are saying touchdown. The Patriots say they have the ball. The signal is touchdown.
More importantly, the referees are saying touchdown. What do they say about the ground cannot cause a fumble? You're going to see a fine example of that here. Jimmy Giles showing the savvy, coming across from the left-hand side, number 88 in orange. They're coming wide open. Now right here, getting these last 5 yards on his own, stretching, reaching the ball out, breaking the plane of the end zone. The ball came out, but it was already a touchdown when the ball crossed that plane of the goal line.
Donald Igwebuike, the Nigerian kicker. And he makes it 7-0 Bucs, but there is a flag down on the field. Take another look, a 3.5-minute drive.
Here you're going to see him stretch the ball out, breaking the plane right there. The ball comes loose, but the ground cannot cause a fumble, Len, and that's exactly what happened there.
Tom Dooley's our referee today.
Holding, 85 offense, try the point.
So the hold against Whitty, and that will back Donald Amici Igwebuike, the 10th round draft choice out of Clemson.
God bless
back
you.
Another 5 yards. Some people call him Iggy, and others Donald. We'll take a vote in a little while. Igwebuike. And 5 yards back, hits it through again. So 3.5-minute drive for the Buccaneers, and it's a good one. A 16-yard touchdown to Jimmy Giles, and the Buccaneers break on top 7-0. He won the job here in Tampa Bay as a rookie just based on his kickoffs. He never got to try a field goal during the preseason, but he had such a strong leg, he got the job. That's Stephen Starring getting ready to return. The Patriots immediately in a 7-point hole. He's got some pretty good return yardage statistics. Let's see if Starring will get to return it.
Wow.
Well, that's the story with Donald Igwebuike, and a fight has broken out on the far side with Bowman.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
And Mark Whitty.
What's going on there, fellows?
Quickly, it's broken up.
Save it for when it counts. The ball's out of the end zone. Somebody ought to tell these guys.
Some extracurricular special team activities. All right, let's take a look at the Patriots offense. Steve Grogan. Craig James wanted the ball last week, finally got it 22 times against the Jets with Tony Collins in the backfield, the speed outside with Fryer and Morgan. We'll keep an eye on Guy Morris, the center, with the knee surgery to Pete Brock. Morris now anchors the line at center. He's a veteran. He started 4 games last year. First down, Grogan wants to throw immediately. A lot of time, and completes it over the middle. And the Patriots quickly strike for close to a first down as he found Stanley Morgan. Keith Browner caught up with Stanley. A gain of almost 10. The Buck defense, David Logan strong in the middle. Ron Holmes, the right end. Leroy Selman, the famous lineman for the Bucs, is out on injured reserve. Some injuries in the center of the linebacking core, but Davis and Brantley are starting. Chris Washington replaces the departed Hugh Green, who was traded to Miami. A disgruntled Hugh Green. Second and short at the 29. And James carries the Patriots to a quick first down. Jeff Davis caught up with him.
Excellent hit that time, Lynn, by Jeff Davis. It was a little bit too late. You couldn't stop the first down. Of course, they only had second down and a yard to go, but a big hit by the linebacker, Jeff Davis.
Small cornerbacks with Castile and Holt. Greenwood, a former USFL player, is the strong safety, and Ivory Sully, the former Ram, is the free safety. First down for the Patriots at their 33. The Bucs have given up the most points of any team in the NFC. The Patriots trying to capitalize here during their first drive. Grogan to throw again. A wobbly one, might have been tipped. Intended for Craig James out of the backfield. And Keith Browner on the coverage. Now, we mentioned that Dave Logan's a fine nose tackle for the Bucs, and he's up against Guy Morris starting for Pete Brock today.
Taking a look at it here, Len, Dave Logan may be the best nose tackle in the National Football League today. It's a key matchup because 75 here, Guy Morris, is the substitute center for Pete Brock. A good job there by the center, Guy Morris. He's going to have his hands full, literally and figuratively, all day long.
Bucs show a four-man front now on 2nd and 10 for the Pats at their 33. Grogan lost the ball. Still on the ground. Recovered by Tampa Bay. Keith Browner.
A big turnover, Lynn. Going to take a look at Dave Logan here. Again, going against Guy Morris, the center. He gets good penetration here on number 75. Guy Morris battling him here. Going to the left, coming on to the right. And I can see John Hanna picking him up right here. Boom. Good heads-up play by John Hanna, but the ball's on the ground.
And Keith Browner of the famous Browner family makes the recovery as the Patriots continue to lead the National Football League in fumbles lost. That is the 12th fumble they have given away just early in the 8th game. So immediately the Bucs, leading 7-0 early first quarter, have the ball at the Patriots 25. First down. The only winless team in the National Football League trying to go up 14. Out to House. And a House for a good game. Finally, Ronnie Lippett on the tackle. House down to the 17.
Lynn, that's going to be tough to stop all day long. Kevin House just took a couple of quick, hard steps upfield, stopped, came back to the ball. The ball was right there on time. And Ronnie Lippett was left all alone out there, and that's going to be a tough play to stop all day long.
I wonder if Refrigerator was in on the action for the Bears. Washington with the lead on Cleveland. And Indianapolis on a Wayne Capers run. Here it is 7-0.
This could be a throwaway down, Len, on 2nd and 2.
Gave it off to Wilder. Wilder, if it was a throwaway down, he made the first down. And Fred Marion on the tackle, but the Bucs are moving again. Down to the 13. So as we mentioned, Tampa Bay has had no problem scoring this year. Their problem has been in their defense. A gain of 5 for Wilder. It's first down at the Patriots 12. Patriots need the kind of defensive surge here that they had against the Jets last week when they recovered a fumble. Lehman Bennett looking for win number 1, the Tampa Bay coach.
Patriot defense needs a big play here, Len.
Gerald Carter in motion. DeBerg to Wilder. And there's a play. Andre Tippett's a man who usually gives it to him. Andre can't bring him down, but did stop him. Gain of maybe a yard. Johnny Rembert also in on the stop.
Johnny Rembert playing today for the injured Larry McGrew. Len, there's really not much drop-off in ability or talent there. Johnny Rembert's a fine backup inside linebacker. That play, by the way, was the same play they opened up earlier in the game. It's a little counter play with the right guard and tackle. Mallory and Heller pulling to the left side of the offensive line, but that time the Patriots were waiting for it.
For Tampa Bay, 2nd and 8 at the Patriot 10. Not yet halfway through the first quarter. It's all Tampa Bay. DeBerg throwing, completing, out of the backfield. Goes to his U-back, Jerry Bell. Roland James on the tackle. Jerry Bell is their leading receiver. It's now his 36th catch. They call him a U-back. Sometimes he lines up as a tight end, other times as a flanker in the backfield. And Jerry Bell is doing the job for him. He's got him down now to the 7-yard line.
Jerry Bell's a fine receiver, Len. He's also an adequate blocker, as is Jimmy Giles. Between the two of them, Jerry Bell and Jimmy Giles, they would be leading the National Football League in tight end receptions if they were one person.
Big 3rd and 5 at the 7. Carter in motion. Wilder down to the 5. Oh, down close to the goal line. Buccaneers say they have it. Andre Tippett there.
Fine blocking that time, Len, by Rick Mallory and Ron Heller. The same play we looked at a little bit ago. You're going to see the right tackle, number 68, Rick Mallory, and number 73 in orange. Pulling to their left there now. Wilder's tucking behind me. You see Mallory getting a block there on Blackman. Heller turning it up. A lot of daylight, a lot of room there, and those are two big reasons why James Wilder is leading the NFL in rushing.
The ball is marked at the half-yard line, so the Bucs will have 4 more cracks. 1st and goal for DeBerg and company. 6.5 minutes remain on an orange first quarter. The Buccaneers in control. Jerry Bell in motion. Wilder. No. You see Blackman ball hawking?
No, he didn't get it. The Patriot defensive line got good penetration that line and that time and defeated the left side of the Tampa offensive line. Got penetration and prevented the touchdown.
Julius Adams on the bottom of the barrel, on the bottom of the pile, and now it'll be 2nd and goal. Second and goal as they dig in. Wilder over the top, touchdown.
What an effort by James Wilder, Len. There was nothing there on the ground, so he literally took to the air, had to be up about 6 feet in the air. You're going to get a great view of it here. James Wilder going up, getting great height, up and over. Right there, he cracks the invisible plane. The Patriots don't like the call, but you can see it, an excellent shot there. Wilder cracking the end zone plane.
Igwe Buike curls it through and makes it 14. So Wilder does it the way former Pat Sam Cunningham did it. And for the first time this season, the Patriots have given up 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. 14-0. Back in Tampa, Len Berman with Bob Kuchenberg. 5:50 remaining first quarter. 14-0 Tampa Bay as James Wilder, with that touchdown, has become the all-time leading scorer in the Buccaneers' 10-year history. By Robert Weathers, and Weathers gets it up across the 20. Before he is finally stopped by Leon Bright after an 18-yard return. So the turnover, the fumble, is costly, and the Buccaneers cashed in for a rare 14-point lead.
Rare indeed. But I'm not surprised, Len. They've had explosive capabilities all year long. Their offense has been cooking in all 8 cylinders in recent weeks. Their defense has been the problem. Talking with Doug Schuyler, their defensive coordinator, they're playing a lot of zone. They've been getting up a lot of 10-play drives. And that's exactly what the Patriots need here now, to be patient and not try to get it all back at once.
First down at their 22. Fryer in motion. Craig James gets it up to the 26. Some hard hitting inside. Buccaneers may be pinching themselves. They have not had a 14-point lead all season. As Craig James heads off. No Patriot rusher for 100 yards in a game this season. And this is the kind of game where they are going to need that ground yardage.
David Logan is the Bucs nominee for the 1985 award. Vote now.
Then I think you might see the Patriots continue to pound away at the ground and throw the short passes.
2nd and 6 at the 26. Tony Collins. And he's tripped up by Jeff Davis. And maybe his feet slipped a little bit the way Wilder's did earlier.
Len, Jeff Davis is playing with a very badly pulled groin, and he sure did not show any indication of soreness that time. He ran about 15 yards and showed great quickness coming to his right.
No gain on the play. This telecast, presented by authority of the NFL, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the NFL is prohibited. 3rd and 6 for New England out of the shotgun at their 26. Rogan throwing far side, nearly picked off by Ivory Sully, intended for Cedric Jones. And for the Patriots, it will be 3 plays and punt with 4:16 remaining first quarter, and the Tampa Bay crowd comes alive.
They like it. Then this was a fine play by the safety, Ivory Scully, here, because the receiver had beaten Jeremiah Castile, had a step on him. You're going to see 44 in the orange jersey coming over and getting a hand on the ball just at the last second, preventing what could have been a touchdown.
See the reaction from Sully. Nearly had his first as a Buck. Rich Camarillo comes on. He's been averaging over 44 yards a kick. He slipped a bit the last couple of weeks. And he gets a good kick to the near side, goes out of bounds. Leon Bright was over there. And the ball will be marked out between the 30 and 31-yard line for Tampa Bay. So still 4 minutes to go. The Bucs already lead 14-0, and they're getting the ball back.
In the past.
The sunglasses, he has been pacing during that last commercial, grabs the clipboard, finds himself trailing a hungry football team 14-0 with 4 minutes and change remaining first quarter. First down at the Tampa Bay 31. Wilder, not this time. Flag is down. Steve Nelson, Don Blackman was on the bottom.
Might have an offensive holding there.
That's the call, Cooch. It was a 43-yard punt by Rich Camarillo. Went out of bounds, no return, and this will back up the Buccaneers even more.
Holding, 60 offense, first down.
Center Randy Grimes. See if we can pick it
You're going
up.
to see the center getting called for holding here. It's a very difficult job. Center is a very tough position. You've got to snap the ball. Main responsibility is get the ball to the quarterback, but then you've got a 270 or 275-pound raving lunatic over your head, and you've got to try to hand the ball to the quarterback and get a block at the same time, and that is not easy.
Raving lunatic. First and 20, backed up to their 21. I don't know if Dennis Owens appreciates that, but Adams and Sims on that front three try to cause some havoc there. Bell goes in motion. Wilder. Good hole, but Tippett was the first one who grabbed him, and then Sims and a couple of his teammates, along with Roland James, in on the tackle. Wilder didn't pick up much.
Now the Patriots have to realize they've got to stop the Bucs here and turn the ball over to their offense in decent field position for the first time today. The one thing that the coach Ray Berry and Steve Grogan and the Patriots don't want to do right now is panic and try to get back to 14 points all at once. They have to be patient. And the big key is to stop the Buccaneers right now and get the ball back to their offense.
That rings a bell. The Bucs stop here. Second and 19 at the 22. DeBerg throwing and completing again to Jerry Bell. But it's short of a first down. 15-yard pickup for DeBerg, who is picking up where he left off last week. They're working on Ronnie Lippett.
Len, perhaps the premier defender on this New England team is linebacker Andre Tippett, and many people are saying he's the best outside linebacker in the game today, but even the great ones have bad plays, and you're going to see an example of here where Andre Tippett, trying to get back into his zone, doesn't quite get back soon enough, and the reception is completed over his head, and it's tough for a big, strong linebacker. He's really a defensive end, 6'3", 241, to cover in pass protection.
This almost becomes an important play early in the first quarter, 3rd and 4 at the 37. Flag down. DeBerg throwing nowhere. Incomplete. Overthrowing. Looking for Jimmy Giles. But we shall check out the flag, and while we do, we could tell you motion against the defense. This will be declined. Denver leading 10-0 over Kansas City. And the Bears roll on, trying to go half a season in 10-0 over Minnesota.
87 offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Motion against Gerald Carter. Washington has opened up 14-0 over Cleveland.
That's a surprise.
Yes, it is. St. Louis 7-0. Lomax to Pat Tilley on a touchdown. And Buffalo wants to make it 2 in a row. Andre Reed on a reverse. So, a kick from Frank Garcia. Irving Fryer, the second leading punt returner in the AFC, is deep. 30-second clock is now down to 9. Game clock, 2:49 remaining first quarter.
Len Garcia needs to get plenty of height on this kick because Irving Fryer can flat go with the ball.
He has a return. Plenty of room. Fryer to the 30. Fryer tripped up as he got to the 38.
A little extracurricular activity going on down there again.
And Ken Kaplan in on the tackle. If that name sounds familiar, from Brockton, Massachusetts, by way of New Hampshire. Patriots get it. Patriots break the huddle at their 38. First down, looking for some offense, trailing 14-0 with 2:42 remaining, first quarter. Backs are split. Grogan wants to throw. He's chased by Logan. The screen play to Tony Collins. Collins breaks it for a first down to the 46.
A good first down play, Len. The wide receiver Stanley Morgan drove John Holt deep, opening up the left side of the field there, and the good lead blockers out there, John Hanna and Brian Holloway, both got up in front of this screen and get fine blocks. You're going to see it's a little slow developing screen play here, and you see John Hanna out there front getting a block. Brian Holloway doing the same thing. Good first down play.
Let's call it second and short now. He came up short of the first down. Grogan completing to Fryer. The moves from Irving Fryer and then caught from behind. This is a first down inside Tampa Bay territory at the 46.
Len, I'm glad to see Steve Grogan showing patience, taking the short stuff. Again, the Tampa Bay secondary is playing very deep, taking away the home run threat. They're going to give up 5-10 yards at a crack. They're going to make the Patriots try to drive the length of the field in 10 or 12 play drives, hoping for a mistake. Grogan's being patient, taking what's being given to him.
Patriots' deepest penetration. They're now at the Bucs 44. James, good yardage, straight up the gut, close to the 35. Jeff Davison on the tackle. That offensive line starting to move him out for New England.
They sure are, Len, and one of the reasons is they are so big. Brian Holloway, Hanna, Morris, Wooten, Steve Moore, Dawson, all of them are 275 pounds more. The average weight, 272.6 pounds. That's amazing how big these guys have gotten in the last couple of years. I think if I were drafted nowadays, or I wouldn't even be drafted, I would be too small.
Steve Moore, number 67, they kid him and say he should be the refrigerator Purry of the Patriots. How they like to see him carry the football. Moore says, I'm ready. 2nd and 2. They give to Tony Collins instead, but he stopped short of a first down, and there's Jeff Davis again. We didn't think he would play, but we've called his number quite a bit. Number 58, fourth-year player from the national championship Clemson team, Jeff Davis.
We sure have, Len, and he's quite a competitor. Again, playing with the badly pulled groin. Last week he had the groin pull on the other leg, other thigh, and this week the other thigh. So he wasn't even expected to play much today, and we've called his name 4 times, and he's quite a competitor, and he's all over the ball field today.
With just 14 seconds remaining in the first quarter, the Patriots have a 3rd and 1 at the Tampa Bay 35. And Tony Collins bursts free. Make that Tutupu. Mosey Tutupu in on the play, all the way down to the Buccaneer 25.
Len, in Patriot short yardage situations, you can almost count on Mosey Tutupu getting the ball.
All the way down to the Buck 26. That's the end of the quarter. We'll be back. Back at Tampa Stadium, Len Berman with Bob Kuchenberg after 1 quarter. 14-0 Tampa Bay. A 16-yard touchdown pass to Jimmy Giles and a half-yard run by James Wilder.
It's unusual, Len, and it's a rather quiet stadium. I'm surprised you think the fans would be ecstatic, but it's almost as if they're sitting back waiting for some disaster to occur.
First down at the Tampa Bay 26 for New England. Craig James fights to the 20. David Logan in on the tackle for Tampa Bay.
Logan made the tackle here, Len, but it was on his own side of the line of scrimmage. The play gained 5 yards, and I'd say that's a win for center Guy Morris. You see him driving Logan downfield here, and Logan gets in the play late. Also, what made this play effective was the block of John Hanna, the left guard, and Brian Holloway, the left tackle. They sealed off their blocks and created a wide gap in the left side or right side of that Buccaneer defensive line.
2nd and 4 at the 20. Patriots now in an I formation in the backfield. Fryer in motion. He gets the reverse. Irving Fryer, we're waiting for him on the far side. A nice tackle made by John Holt. He just stood his ground, waited for him, and there he came. Made the tackle. Good play.
Fine play. Fine play by John Holt. He not only made the tackle, good heads up, feet wide base, but he beat a block. There was a wide receiver in his face. Here you can see the reverse. Fryer coming
There he
across
is.
there. John Holt waiting, not going for the fakes, just being patient, not overextending, making the play. And if he didn't make that play, there was nobody else to make it. So you might call that a touchdown-saving tackle by John Holt.
Good play. 3rd and 2 at the 18. Patriots need a first down. Through the air. And it's ruled incomplete, intended for Stanley Morgan, with Jeremiah Castile covering. And Tony Franklin will come on to try to give the Patriots 3.
Good coverage that time by Jeremiah Castile. Morgan had driven Castile into the end zone. He came back for the ball. The ball was thrown on a timely basis. It was thrown low. It would have been a difficult catch for Morgan, but he's made tougher catches than that. I thought that ball could have been caught, man.
No score in the Meadowlands. Tony Eason will hold for Tony Franklin. This will be a 35-yard attempt, and during practice we saw Franklin boom them from 60 yards away. And Franklin nails it. So in the opening 2 minutes of the second quarter, the Patriots get on the scoreboard. 14-3 Tampa Bay. Break.
True.
So with 13:29 remaining in the first half, 14-3 Tampa Bay. Tony Franklin kicks it away. Bounces. Leon Bright at the 18, tries to hurdle and gets up to the 26, and that's where the Bucs will start. First down at the 26. Tampa Bay leading the New England Patriots 14-3. DeBerg this afternoon, 6 of 8 passing for 67 yards and a touchdown as Jerry Bell goes in motion and hands off to James Wilder. Wilder tried it a second time and got nowhere. Kenneth Sims in his way, the 4th-year player from Texas. Sims still not talking to the media, but lets his play do the talking for him on the field.
Well, then I think that most head coaches would prefer if their football players let their playing do the talking for them. Kenneth Sims, a #1 draft pick, was the entire draft a couple of years back. Rather slow getting out of the blocks, in my opinion, but he's slowly and quietly developing into a very sound defensive end.
Pickup of a yard. 2nd and 9 on the 27. Berg to throw. And nearly intercepted by Marion, intended for Gerald Carter. Now in the offensive line for Tampa Bay is Ken Kaplan, and he is a backup lineman, number 79. An interesting story behind Ken is that he was a vendor at Boston Garden with Celtics and Bruins games, and maybe some of his dealings with the fans helps him in the offensive line.
A vendor?
That's it.
Looked like he was taking tickets that time.
From Brockton, Massachusetts.
What's interesting now is Kaplan is playing left tackle. That means the first-string left tackle, George Yarno, is required to go over to the right side now, which is very difficult to do.
3rd and 9 at the 27. DeBerg intercepted. Threw it right into the hands of Don Blackman. And the Patriots get their first big turnover. Don Blackman not expected to start today. Missed the last 2 weeks with a knee injury. But DeBerg threw it right to him. A pickoff for Blackman.
Well, DeBerg hit the open man. Hit him right in the numbers. Frankly, I'm surprised to see Blackman that deep in the secondary. You're going to see DeBerg going back here. This is the first interception he's thrown in a while. Had to duck the rush there. But I don't know really where he was throwing. Blackman not expected to play today and coming up with a big play here. The Patriot defense really misses this guy when he's not in the lineup.
Blackman's first interception of the year, his 5th career interception, and now the Patriots are in business. First down at the Tampa Bay 29, trailing by 11. Fake to Tony Collins. Cannon chasing. Cannon gets his man. John Cannon on the sack.
Cannon, a very underrated player, good solid ball player, young, a bright future in the league. Len, he's leading this team with quarterback pressures this year with 11, and had 30 last year behind only the great Leroy Selman. Pushes the Patriots back to a 2nd and 14.
at their 33. Obvious passing down. Derek Ramsey has replaced Lynn Dawson at tight end on this play. Throwing, and Fryer slipped. Fryer was going right, and Grogan threw it left. So it's 14-3 Buccaneers here. What's going on elsewhere? Let's go to NFL 85. The Miami game impacts on New England. The Patriots start the day trailing both Miami and the Jets by a game. So we will follow that game carefully with your help at NFL 85 from the shotgun. 3rd down and 14. Craig James couldn't hang on. Keith Browner covering, and now Franklin will try a long run.
All right, Len, the quarterback threw behind the receiver that time, but looking at the middle guard, Dave Logan, Guy Morris has his hands full. Sometimes these big, strong guys come straight ahead, and sometimes they loop all the way around and have little games and twists. This time, Guy Morris saw it coming, went outside and threw low at Logan and slowed him up just enough to enable his quarterback to get the ball off. It was a fine job by the center, Guy Morris.
Well, Tony Franklin, with his hidden shoe, will try a 50-yarder.
Against a stiff wind. This is not an easy kick, Len.
Has enough distance. Wow. He boomed it through there from 50 yards away. And the turnover results in another field goal for Tony Franklin. A 50-yarder, 14-6. Tony Franklin with a 50-yard field goal, his longest as a Patriot, although he has hit 59 in the pros, the NFL's second longest. Boots it away. I think his field goal try was longer. Bill Freeman brings it all the way out to the 34 after the short kick. Derwin Williams covering on the special teams for the Patriots. No concussion this time for Derwin.
You know, Len, the Buccaneers can ill afford to lose this man. George Yarno has been the most underrated and most effective offensive lineman the Buccaneers have had all year long. He's got a bright future, but with Ron Heller hurting on the other side and Sean Farrell completely out of the ball game, the Buccaneer offensive line is decimated by injury. And strangely enough, their big problem right now is not one of morale, but it's of healthy bodies. They don't have a good body count.
George Yarno, they're working on his knees, so Ken Kaplan is in at left tackle. First down for the Buccaneers at their 34. 11 minutes and change remaining. First half, they lead 14-6. Ron Springs with a rare carry, and the Patriot defense was saying, where's James Wilder? Ron Springs has carried all of 4 times since he came over from the Cowboys. That's one of the criticisms here in Tampa Bay. They should give the ball to somebody besides Wilder, and they finally do it. Number 20, Ron Springs.
It's the same play, Len, that Wilder's been carrying the ball on, and Ron Springs seizing the opportunity, saying, hey, I don't get this ball, I don't get the mail very often, I better deliver it. Nice first down play, and good effort by Ron Springs. He's a fine ball player, and a lot of teams he'd be starting, but of course behind the all-pro James Wilder, he's not going to see much action.
An 11-yard gain. First down at the 45. Carter in motion. Springs doesn't do it the second time. Garen Veras, who had a fine game last week, in on the tackle, along with Julius Adams.
For that time, Ron Springs once again went to his left, but he saw that there was nothing there. Tried to cut back, lost his footing a little bit, and by that time he was swarmed under.
Big Julie Adams. What a career he has had. His 15th and final year. James Wilder walking on the sideline, and maybe there's something with James, a very durable running back, but he is pacing and watching Ron Springs take his tailback slot. This is a 2nd and 11, the 46. DeBerg to throw, and he throws it deep. Intended for House. Crowd wanted the flag, didn't get it. Ronnie Lippett congratulated by Fred Marion as Lippett was with House step for step.
He sure was, Len. This was a fine play by the little guy, Ronnie Lippett. All the teams pick on Ronnie Lippett because of the other cornerback is an excellent Raymond Claiborne. But this time, I don't know, that was a little hairy there. You know, he was stumbling. Ronnie Lippett was stumbling there, and he may have had a little preliminary contact there. And
what helped him was he was looking back. This year, if the defensive back is looking back, and you could tell from the replay, he didn't have the ball spotted. But if you're looking, they're not as likely to give you the interference call.
I agree with you. 1 year ago, that would have been a flag.
3rd and 11. 3 wide receivers in for Steve DeBerg and the Buccaneers. Gerald Carter, one of them, in motion. they get to him. The least sacks of any team in the conference given up. But the Pats got the Berg that time. A combination of Andre Tippett and Ken Sims, their blue shippers on the left side.
And part of the reason that pressure was there is because Sean Farrell, many people say their best offensive lineman, is not in there. Rick Mallory and Ron Hill are having to do the job here. And he had a little bit of time, though. Len, it wasn't as though he didn't have any time. But eventually, though, the pressure got to him and chalk up a sack for the Patriots.
Those injuries may be telling the story in that offensive line for Tampa Bay, enabling the Patriots to turn in the sack. Frank Garcia into punt for the second time. Irving Fryer is deep at the New England 15. Garcia, not a bad kick, but Fryer will have a return again. Fryer, far side. 2 flags go down as Fryer heads out at the 37. Mark Whitty chased him out of bounds, but let's check out the flags. A 43-yard punt, a 19-yard return, and the flag will go against New England.
I think you might have a clipper blocking illegally by Jim Bowman, number 28, Glenn.
Let's see if Tom Dooley agrees.
Illegal block, number 28 of the receiving team. First down.
Eagle-eyed Mr. Cooch makes the call. Jim Bowman with the flag. Let's see if we can pick it up on the left here.
It's a good call. His head is not in front as it should be. It's an illegal block, and Bowman should have recognized, should have had the good judgment not to throw this block because he could not get the proper angle.
Patriots get the ball back. We'll take a timeout. Tampa Bay leads it 14-6. Brantley's hip pointer is acted up again. Jeff Davis's groin muscle hurts him as well. Both middle linebackers are out. So it's a battle of attrition here as Tampa Bay is starting to lose players. First down for the Patriots at their 16. Craig James greeted by John Cannon, and Keith Browner goes ball hawking.
Fine play by John Cannon. Got the penetration on the offensive tackle Steve Moore. Made it happen on the Patriots side of the line of scrimmage. You're going to take a look at John Cannon, number 78 here in orange. Taking it to actually Ron Wooten on a turn block.
Ooh, that's a pretty play. And watch Browner here, 57, going after the ball. Hey, that's mine, says
little
Keith.
extra twist there.
Right.
Fine play, though, John Cannon defeating the turn block by Ron Wooten.
2nd and 8 from the 18. Draw play. Tony Collins breaks free at the 25. Collins across the 30. First down for the Patriots. Good play, Tony Collins. John Holt finally ran him out.
You know, Lynn, it's good for me to see Tony Collins breaking a run like that. A couple of years ago, a Pro Bowl ball carrier, over 1,000 yards. He really has kind of disappeared from the running attack of the Patriots. Part of that, of course, is attributable to the emergence of Craig James. But Tony Collins is a fine ball carrier, and it's a shame that he doesn't get the ball a little bit more often.
I think he has a few relatives. He grew up in Sanford, Florida, about 100 miles away. Maybe before a few home folks, he puts on a 13-yard show. First down for New England at their 31. Well, they'll flag this one dead.
Left tackle Brian Holloway was moving a little bit early there, I'm afraid.
False start, 76 offense. First down.
We don't need Tom Dooley. You call it before he does.
Well, I seem to gravitate towards those offensive linemen,
Yeah.
and I know the feeling, believe me. Going to see 76 moving early there. You know, it's really unfair. The poor offensive lineman, I'm sure Brian Holloway's been playing a fine game all day long. He's probably got 9 or 10 great blocks, but nobody said, great block, Brian Holloway. All they've said so far is moving illegally, Brian Holloway.
Number 76, 1st and 15 at the 26. That's the offensive lineman's plight. Inside of 9 minutes remaining first half, Tampa Bay leading 14-6. They led at one point, 14-0. Grogan has time, rolls out, completes it to Stanley Morgan, short of a first down, with Jeremiah Castile on the coverage.
But that was a fine play by Stanley Morgan, Len. What made this play was the experience and savvy of the wily veteran Stanley Morgan. He ran his route. He was not open. Grogan looked at him, saw that he wasn't covered. Now he had to go and buy some time. So Grogan rolled to his left, and Morgan, knowing what Grogan does, faked downfield again, drove Jeremiah Castile deep, came back for the ball, and got the completion.
Grogan pointing out to Robert Weathers where he wants him to set up. This is a 2nd and 5 for the Patriots at their 36. Weathers and James in the backfield. James with Weathers leading the blocking, and John Cannon, who's having an all-pro afternoon on the defensive line for Tampa Bay. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
WWLP Springfield.
Gain of 3 yards, 3rd and 2.
Taking a look at big Scott Brantley there, a very inspirational, courageous player. He's been plagued by injuries over his entire career and apparently cannot go any farther with the hip injury that he has today. Len, it's really, like you say, a war of attrition here with Davis and Brantley and, of course, Leroy Solomon, the great Leroy Solomon not even being here. There's not much left of this Buccaneer defense.
3rd and 2 at the 39. Grogan swings it out for Robert Weathers. Fights for a first down as Ron Wooten lost his helmet in the middle of the scramble. And this will be an important measurement. Weathers with his first reception of the year.
Referee calling timeout because the players are slow to unwind, unpile.
Wooten says, "Who took my helmet?"
That's right.
And Wooten does look a little bit shook up.
You would too if you lost your helmet in a pile-up of about 9 or 10 bodies. Taking a look at it here, Ron Wooten, 61 on the left-hand side, trying to get in front of the defender. Don't know where his hat comes off here. I guess the second hit. Whoa, my gosh. 57 delivered a blow there. Little headbutt. Number 57, Keith Browner, really put it to Wooten there in the pileup, and hopefully he'll be all right later on.
And it is short of a first down. For the Patriots, with 7:21 remaining in the second quarter, will have to punt, and the silent crowd gives the defense a bit of a cheer. Even the cheerleaders are quiet today.
I tell you, Len, they deserve it, though. We talked about them being decimated by injuries. They don't have a lot of their starters there. They're just playing on guts and determination, and this defensive squad of the Buccaneers have been very impressive today.
That was an important defensive play in the scheme of things in this first half. So now Rich Camarillo will have to punt away to Leon Bright. That 75-yard punt. Nobody has punted more times or for more yardage in the NFL than he. And here's Leon Bright, the former Canadian Football League player, also played with the New York Giants. That's a good kick from Camarillo. And Bright calls for a fair catch, backed up to his 11-yard line. And that's where the Buccaneers will start out. And there's a discussion going on with the officials as the Patriots were looking for a call. Mark Whittian on the action along with Ed Williams. And Mosi Tutupu, the special teams captain. So the Bucs will start at their 11. It gives us a moment to tell you that we've got bowling coming your way here on NBC Sports. The PBA Fall Tour gets underway, beginning with exclusive coverage of the Kodak Invitational from the Olympic Bowl in Rochester, New York, next Saturday, 4:30 Eastern Time. Get your bowling shoes out and your ball ready following the Breeders' Cup right here on NBC Sports. It is a 6-week fall tour for bowling here on NBC Sports, 2 o'clock after the first week. Ron Springs still in for James Wilder. See if we can get a report. First down at the 12. DeBerg throwing and completing, and the ball pops loose, but the Gerald Carter ruled complete on the far side as Andre Tippett came up with the ball. Gerald Carter. Seattle has taken the lead on the Jets. That's of interest to New England fans.
Sure is.
Denver big over Kansas City in the second quarter. Look out for the Broncos this year.
Don't know what happened to Kansas City. They started off so tough, and now they're slumping.
Chicago trying to hold off Minnesota. St. Louis shutting out Houston. Atlanta leading the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys are struggling. Second down and 2 at the 20. Ron Springs fights for a Tampa Bay first down.
Ron Springs about carry.
Green Bay trailing the Indianapolis Colts in the second quarter, 17-7. And Miami coming back on Detroit. Detroit jumped out quickly. The Lions still lead it, though, 17-14 second quarter. So the 3 teams atop the AFC East are all trailing as of this moment in the first half of their games. And we will have a measurement to see if this is indeed a first down for Ron Springs and the Buccaneers. And it's just a bit shy. So this will set up 3rd down and inches for Tampa Bay. The standings starting today: New England trailing both Miami and the Jets by a game. New England plays Miami next week at sold-out Sullivan Stadium. But all 3 teams struggling, and the Colts and Bills are winning their games.
And Len, you've got to be sure that the Patriots are aware that the Jets and the Dolphins are struggling today, and that should add plenty of incentive to their already important cause here. Big play here, Len.
Out of the I formation. Faking it. DeBerg throwing and intercepted by Fred Marion. The pass intended for Bell. Marion all the way down inside the 25. A big play for the New England defense as DeBerg thought he had something. The I formation, 3rd and inches, play action fake, going deep to Jerry Bell, and Fred Marion picked it off.
Nobody in the stadium expected it, Len, except perhaps Fred Marion. I think if the ball would have been thrown a little bit deeper, he may have had it, but it was a fine play by Marion playing center field there. And that's something a free safety has to do. He's going to be up trying to make the tackle, but when you've got 75 or 80 yards of real estate behind you, you've got to lay back. Looking at it from another angle here, you see Marion, number 31 on your right-hand side there, stretching, getting deep, timed perfectly from the former Hurricane, University of Miami veteran. Big play for the Patriot defense.
First down at the Tampa Bay 23. The Patriots with 2 field goals looking for their first touchdown of the afternoon. Robert Weathers is grabbed by David Logan, the nose tackle. But not before he could advance inside the 20 to the 19 for a pickup of 4. David Logan applauding on defense, trying to get his defensive core geared up. They led it 14-0. The Pats have come back to 14-6 now with 5 minutes remaining first half. This is a 2nd and 6 at the Tampa Bay 19. Steve Grogan calling his own plays. He's had to move out of the pocket consistently, and he gambles and loses the ball. And we'll see if he's ruled down or if it's ruled a Tampa Bay. It's a Tampa Bay fumble recovery. Steve Grogan's 2nd fumble.
I don't know, Len. I don't know about that call. The officials were hesitant to give the indication. I believe the first side judge that saw it and didn't call it. I think he may have been down before he fumbled it. Let's take a look. He's sitting down on the ground. I don't know. Tough call.
I don't know if he was on the ground or on a player, Bob. Maybe that's the key. He's dragged down on top of a player.
This is true.
A player can cause a fumble while the ground cannot. So maybe that is a good call.
I would imagine that's the difference. And if that's true, and indeed it is, it was a good call.
2 fumbles by the Patriots, who have now given up 13 fumbles to lead the league, and 2 interceptions of DeBerg. So 4 turnovers in the first half, and James Wilder is now back in as Tampa Bay begins at their 10. There's Wilder. And there's a gain of maybe 2. And it looks like Garen Varus in on the tackle. Yes, it is. So Wilder, after missing the last series, is now back in.
He's back in, Len, but he didn't do much on that play, largely because Garen Varus came in from the backside and shut the play down. Apparently, Garen Varus is playing for Ken Sims. And I don't know if Sims is injured or not, but Garen Varus has made a couple of fine plays here.
2nd and 8 for Tampa Bay at the 12. Play action fake to Wilder. DeBerg incomplete, looking for Carter, and Fred Marion, that man in the middle again. So Fred Marion defensively doing it for the Patriots after he turned in that interception, which was his 3rd of the year. And now stopping the Bucs there. So the clock is stopped with 3:59 remaining in the first half. Tampa Bay now faced with a 3rd and 8 from their 12.
Len, the Buccaneer receivers have got to start hearing footsteps. They're looking for Fred Marion. A couple of big plays like that, and a big hit there on the tight end. What the Bucs cannot afford here is a turnover deep in their own territory.
3rd down and 8. Jerry Bell in motion. Keep it simple. And Wilder is stopped by Julie Adams, well short of a first down. And the crowd doesn't like the play selection. Lets the Bucs hear about it. Big Jules heads off, and Frank Garcia, the Tampa Bay punter, will come on. And look at the offense of Tampa Bay just kind of slinking off the field.
Yeah, they're not proud of that 3-down series. Certainly unimaginative and a bit conservative, but on the other hand, if they get a good punt out of here, they've still got the lead by more than a touchdown with only a couple of minutes before halftime. They don't want to get dangerous and real gamble too much deep in their own territory.
And you saw they have blocked Garcia a couple of times this year. He's standing in his end zone. Fryer's up near midfield. Garcia rushes it away, boots it out of bounds, and the ball will be marked well into Tampa Bay territory as the official walks all the way down to the 37.5-yard line. So the Patriots in excellent field position with 3 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in the first half.
Not what you want if you're the punter or the head coach. You need to get more than a 37-yard field position out of a kick out of your own end zone.
That was just a 24-yard kick. If you're just joining us, we have 3 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in the first half. Tampa Bay jumped out to a 14-0 lead after a Keith Browner fumble recovery. Patriots have come back with a couple of field goals, but they've given the ball up twice themselves. They'll try again now. First down at the 37. Second man through is Tony Collins and burst down to the 32 for a pickup of 5 before the rookie Ron Holmes could stop him.
Patriot offensive line controlling the line of scrimmage now. Len, big Brian Holloway and John Hanna getting good blocks. Guy Morris keeping Dave Logan out of the play until substantial yardage was gained.
Ball down at the 32. 2nd and 4 officially.
This is an ideal pass-run situation. Good spot for the offense.
It is a pass. And it's a completion. A good one. And the ball pops loose, but it will be ruled down. Lynn Dawson made the grab.
Good call. I like the call. He made the catch. He was on the ground. He still had the ball. Then the tackler hit him, caused a fumble, but he was already on the ground. It was not called an incompletion. It was not called a fumble, but it was accurately called a completion.
Patriots now going with Paul Fairchild at right guard as Ron Wooten's 1 minute. But a Tampa Bay Buck is down. That is Cecil Johnson. And that'll stop the clock with 62 seconds remaining in the half.
Lynn, I don't know when I've seen a ball game with more injuries to both squads. Cecil Johnson here is a backup for the injured Jeff Davis. You really can't afford to lose any more players.
They continue to drop. It's a hard, tough-hitting game. We'll take a timeout in Tampa. Field, and now he's able to walk off under his own power, and he's replaced by Larry Kubin, another linebacker out of Penn State.
And Len, I'll tell you, if Larry Kubin goes down, they're going to have to sign up one of the coaches because they are flat out of linebackers. Jeff Davis, Scott Brantley, and now Cecil Johnson.
Well, you told me
injured.
James Wilder could play linebacker.
He may have to before the day's over. Wouldn't that be something?
This is 3rd and inches with 62 seconds remaining until halftime. The ball at the Tampa Bay 12. Big play here. 2 tight ends in the lineup. Greg Hawthorne in motion to Tupu. And I believe he got it before he's driven well back by Irvin Randall, among others.
Then he got it easily, and what made that play was the outstanding double-team block by Brian Holloway and John Hanna. Those two big, strong, in the left-hand side of your screen here, you're going to see Hanna and Holloway just double-teaming both the defensive end and the linebacker. That creates such a void there that the first down was made, even if the linebacker makes the play.
So the Patriots spend the first of their 3 timeouts with 52 seconds remaining in the half. As Mosey Tupu, their short yardage man, although you saw him in Cleveland a few weeks back, Bob, when he didn't make it on a critical 4th and inches.
1 yard line. There's so many bodies, literally thousands of pounds of humanity, and it's never a gimme.
Do you think the Tampa Bay defense is thinking naked bootleg after watching last week's films?
I think it's in the back of their minds, at least.
Steve Grogan discussing the play with Raymond Burry and Cecil Johnson talking to the defense, and normally it's Scott Brantley and Jeff Davis who have that chore, but both of them are out injured. You see Johnson speaking with Chris Washington, number 51. Washington replaced Hugh Green. And of course at halftime, Bob and Axon Ahmad, all the scores and highlights. Anxious to see how the Jets and Dolphins are doing, and how that will impact on the Patriots' fortunes. First down and just a little bit outside the 10-yard line. Conceivably, they could make a first down without a touchdown. 52 seconds remain in the half. Looking to throw is Craig James. He's got Tony Collins. For the second time this year, Craig James throws a touchdown pass. The Patriots are within 2.
Craig James can do it all. He can run, he can catch, and as you saw here, he can throw the ball. For the second consecutive week, the Patriots use a trick play to get in the end zone. The Tampa secondary had come up to stop the sweep because James is such a good runner here. Flowing to his right, you're going to see the linebacker and the cornerback come up, leaving the receiver all open. Tony Collins open in the end zone. Craig James, as Len said, is thrown for his second touchdown of the year.
Both to Collins and James, the only player other than Walter Payton in the NFL to run, catch a touchdown pass, and throw one, and now he's thrown for 2. And Tony Franklin will try to draw the Patriots within 1. And he does it. So what was a 14-0 Tampa Bay lead in the first quarter has now been sliced to 1, 14-13. As the Patriots notch their first touchdown of the game. And as you duly noted, Bob, they're doing it with trick plays.
It is, but it's refreshing to see, and it's something that the other team doesn't expect. 2 games in a row here now. What really hurt the Buccaneers, Len, let's don't forget, was that 24-yard punt. Did not help their cause.
Good point. It's next Saturday. It's one of the richest days in any sport. 1 day of racing where they will hand out $10 million in prize money. It's the second annual Breeders' Cup. And it will be coming your way next Saturday at 12:30 Eastern Time here on NBC Sports as the Breeders' Cup and the $10 million horse racing day makes this a November to remember here on NBC. This has been a first half to remember for Tony Franklin and the Patriots. A 50-yard field goal. Lehman Bennett saw a rare 14-point lead dissipate quickly. The short punt, one turnover hurt Tampa Bay, one did not.
Len, you hear so much about giveaways and takeaways and turnovers, and as the game opens up and becomes more of a pass-oriented style of game, you're going to see more and more turnovers. The trend is to try to get back to the ball control running game where there are fewer turnovers.
Phil Freeman dancing, hurdling. He's down near the 25 with 41 seconds remaining in the half. Ed Reynolds slaps a high five with Ed Williams. And Freeman heads off. He's a rookie out of Arizona. But now we'll see what Tampa Bay tries to do. If they choose, they can try to move the ball in a hurry. If not, they have 41 seconds. A Buccaneer is down and a charged timeout. Leon Bright. Yet another injury here in Tampa this afternoon.
Len, as we talked about earlier in the game and also earlier in the week, it's amazing that the morale, the mental set of the Buccaneers is as good as it is. Being 0-7, you might think that they're ready to pack their cars and have one foot in the parking lot and be ready for next year, but not the case. I was honestly amazed to see the fine attitude they've had. The Buccaneers' problem is of a physical nature. They literally do not have enough healthy bodies almost to line up for the ball game.
Leon Bright, man who is shaking his right leg now, obviously in pain. Remember the hit he took a couple of years ago on Thanksgiving Day. Let's see if we can check it.
In the upper left corner of your screen here, you're going to see a... Oh, there it is, a shoulder pad on the left knee.
You know, I think he stumbled over his teammate.
Well, I know that he caught the shoulder pad in the knee, and that's either a hyperextension or it could be in the back of the knee there. When the knee gets bent in that direction, a lot of times it can be the cruciate, the anterior cruciate ligament, which is a very serious injury. Let's hope that we're talking prematurely here.
Do you remember Thanksgiving Day in the Silver Dome a couple of years ago? Detroit was playing the Giants. Leon Bright took the hit of the year. It became very controversial. I mean, it looked like he was dead, or should have been after that hit, and he came back to play. But he's a tough cookie, but this one, well, trying to hold off the Patriots.
Well, the fans may not have liked it, Len, but Coach Lehman Bennett is not going to let with it. You're in no position deep in your own territory with 20 seconds left in the half to get daring and try to get some cheap points, because it's just not going to be there. In all likelihood, you turn the ball over and get yourself deeper in debt.
Well, the toughest halftime will be performed by the doctors and trainers in both locker rooms. To turn against Igwe Buike, Stephen Starring doesn't get much of one, but he did get it out to the 13 before Ivory Sully, number 44, made the stop. Congratulated by Mike Pryor. And two more guys are Garen Varus for the Patriots, and Chris Lindstrom, another New England fellow. He played at BU, comes out of Weymouth, and Chris Lindstrom, one of the 5 Lindstrom brothers of Weymouth. He is also down.
This is unbelievable, and I don't believe I've ever seen a ball game where there have been more people down on the ground.
We saw that, not a pretty sight, just an awful sight before, of 2 players from 2 different teams being wheeled off simultaneously to 2 different runways.
I don't believe I've ever seen that before. And this injury to Chris Lindstrom does not look good either. You notice they're not rolling him over. They're leaving him lie flat. It could be an injury to the back or to the neck.
Lindstrom, his brother Dave plays for Kansas City, also a defensive end. Brother Eric is at Boston College, and Garen Varus gets up on the far side. And he's bandaged all over his right arm. This is a game where the highlight films don't go to the Hall of Fame. They go to the Red Cross. And Lindstrom now hobbling off.
You know, Len, looking at the injury here, Lindstrom backs up Ron Holmes, the #1 draft choice, who is playing in place of the injured Leroy Selman. This Buccaneer defense is not only decimated by physical injuries, but they're haunted by the ghosts of the 2 tremendous players, Leroy Selman and Hugh Green, who of course was traded to the Miami Dolphins a couple of years ago. So it's not only physical, but it's a haunting presence of the seasons past.
The Patriots starting the second half with their 13, trailing by a point. Craig James straight ahead to the 22 or 23.
Good block by Guy Morris that time, taking Dave Logan straight back. Very important matchup here. You're going to see number 75 in white, Guy Morris, going one-on-one with Dave Logan, winning the battle. Chalk that one up to Guy Morris. Ends up putting Dave Logan on his back. That's how they draw it up. With blocking like that, the Patriots are going to be tough to contain.
Morris, of course, replacing the injured Pete Brock. Arthroscopic knee surgery this week. 2nd and 1.
Logan got even.
Stopped.
Logan got even that time. Just as we talked about putting Logan on his back, he must have hurt us, because that time he beat Guy Morris clean, came off the block. You're going to see the number 76, Dave Logan there. Watch him get rid of the center. Boom, get out of here. Where's the ball carrier? Right there. Not twice in a row, Morris. You're not going to beat me.
It's a pretty play. So Patriots bring their short yardage running back into the game. You see Dave Logan, a durable and exciting and talented, but not an overly large nose tackle for Tampa Bay.
Lynn, as an offensive lineman, you dream about putting your defensive opponent on his back, but sometimes you don't want to do that because he'll come back a little harder at you next time.
Hawthorne in motion, 3rd and 1 it is to Tupu as usual in short yardage, and he scrambles and fights, and I believe he might have the first down. David Greenwood teaming with Keith Browner to stop the designated 3rd down man, Mosey Tutupu.
Len, Mosey Tutupu is as good a specialist, short yardage specialist, as there is in the NFL. He's very difficult to stop. Now this time there really was no hole for him. You'll see him slither off this back of his own lineman, slithering to the right there, bleeding yardage just enough to get the first down. He's a very aware player. He knows where the first down marker is and usually comes up with just enough yardage to get it.
First down at the 24 for Steve Grogan and the Patriots. First pass of the second half. He was under pressure. He was decked, but Tony Collins makes the reception at the 44. Another Patriots first down.
What a play by Steve Grogan. Keith Browner was all over.
And look, Browner on the left is the one who got up limping. He put the hit on Grogan, and Browner's the one who walked away worse for wear.
What do you suppose? Grogan bit him in the knee here? You're going to see Keith Browner all over your quarterback. How this ball, number 1, gets thrown and secondly is completed is a miracle. Grogan, a very courageous quarterback, knew that he was going to pay the price there, but didn't let it bother him, followed through and put the ball where he needed to put it.
Browner stays in the game. First down for New England at their 44. James across midfield. James all the way down to the 40. The Patriots are on the march. Another New England first down. Cecil Johnson finally stopped James.
This time you can see Keith Browner not do so well. He had the big play on the quarterback last time. This time Tony Collins, number 33, gets a fine block on 57. Keith Browner here You see 33 throwing on him, getting his man on the ground, enabling Craig James to get big yardage. One of the reasons you're not seeing Tony Collins carry the ball as much as he did 2 years ago is because, unfortunately for him, he's a much better blocker than Craig James is, so they're not going to ask Craig James to block for Tony Collins as much as they're going to give the ball to Craig James.
High formation, Patriots first down at the Bucs 41. Now James blocks for Collins, and Collins picks up yardage before he's driven out by Chris Washington. The Patriots started this drive at their 13, and so far they have picked up 4 first downs as Collins says, "Sub for me."
Pretty impressive drive thus far by the Patriots, Len, and in 2 consecutive plays, you've seen Keith Browner limping there on your screen. He's been beaten to the outside. One of the big, important responsibilities of an outside linebacker is to keep the ball carrier contained inside, turning him back into his defensive help. 2 times in a row now, Browner has been beaten to the outside.
2nd and 2 at the 33. Kubin has replaced Browner at linebacker. Rogan throwing. Looking long. Oh, just past the outstretched arms of Stanley Morgan with John Holt covering. There's a flag, though, in the Patriot backfield. And it's against the Patriots, which will slow this drive down.
This is a costly penalty, Len, on 2nd down and 2 or 3. Incomplete
Holding,
pass.
24 offense, 2nd down.
Robert Weathers was blocking in the backfield, and he was called for the hold.
Now that changes the situation dramatically. Going from a 2nd and 2, you're going to see Stanley Morgan running a beautiful little deep post pattern here. There's Robert Weathers on the right-hand side of your screen there.
All the way to the right. That's what he's being whistled
right.
for. Brought his man down on the tackle. This is a 2nd and 12 for New England, backed up to their 43. Over the middle, complete. Derek Ramsey, who was the leading receiver last year with a team record 66 catches, but thus far this year just 16 receptions for the big tight end from Kentucky. And it is short of a first down, and this will be 3rd and 1 or 2.
3rd and 1.
3rd and about 1.5 yards, Len, but credit Derek Ramsey with getting 3 very important yards on his own there at the tail end of that pass play.
Patriots.
Big difference between 3rd and 1.5 or 3rd and 4.
That's David Greenwood. He's a champion in the United States Football League. 3rd and 1. Is it to Tupu on short yardage? No. It's Tony Collins. And he is short. And the Patriots will have a decision to make on 4th and 1. Cannon and Holmes combined. Will Raymond Berry go for it? Or try to give Tony Franklin a chance on a long field goal try to take the lead? What would you do?
I think I'd have to go for it here on if it's less than 1 yard, and I think that it is. What made the play, it was fine defensive coverage there, fine pursuit by the Buccaneer.
They're going for the field goal. Tony Franklin comes on. If they had tried a field goal, it would have been a 49-yard attempt. Well, they're trying one. It's a 49-yard attempt. Let's see. But the 30-second clock is already down to 5, and so Tony Eason wisely calls timeout.
Little disorganization on the part of the Patriots there, Len.
Tony playing with that slight separation of his left shoulder as the holder, which is dangerous. And the 30-second clock had wound down to 3, and that's why the Patriots had to spend a timeout. And here's Steve Young. Interesting story here. Of course, the highly paid Los Angeles Express quarterback comes over. Many thought that he would immediately walk in and play quarterback, but Lehman Bennett says no. He may play late in the season, but not yet and not soon.
Well, there's no way that a quarterback, any quarterback, young or old, can come in, miss the entire training camp, and expect to be effective. He hasn't played with the ball club before. He knows nothing about the system. And then to make matters worse, he missed the fundamental period, the very critical fundamental period of training camp. During the season, when you're preparing for each opponent, getting ready for a new opponent each week, you're really not working on basics. It's not time to teach or learn. So Steve Young's learning process is really kind of on hold until next training camp.
In fact, on one play when DeBerg came out, people thought Young would go in, and no, it was Alan Risher. But there's Tony Eason, bandaged up. He will hold for what will be A 49.5-yard attempt. Now already Tony Franklin has hit from 35 yards as well as 50 yards. His Patriots best, his NFL best, as we noted earlier, 59 yards. So we have played not yet 5 minutes of the third quarter. Patriots took the kickoff and marched until they were slowed by a Robert Weathers holding call. And George Yarno obviously will not return in the second half. Nice shorts, though.
That loss could hurt the Buccaneers. He's, as we said earlier, playing better football than any other healthy offensive lineman right now. They cannot afford to lose George Yarno.
Franklin trying to give the Patriots their first lead of the afternoon. 49 yards away. Does it get inside the crossbar? It does. And Tony Franklin runs off the field with his arms waved high. The kick started right, came in, got inside the crossbar. Tony Franklin's reaction for the first time this afternoon. The Patriots have taken the lead 16-14. Patriots lead it 16-14. 10 minutes remaining, third quarter. Phil Freeman. There's a lot of movement, but a lot of it side to side. Not as much forward as Ed Reynolds, and looks like Greg Hawthorne playing Johnny on the Pony as well. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneer offense, their offensive coordinator is on crutches, Jimmy Ray, and how fitting that is with what has happened to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It was a jogging accident. Jimmy was hit by a car, and you played against him in college, didn't you, Bob?
I sure did. Jimmy Ray is a fine offensive coordinator, was the quarterback in Michigan State's great 1966 Spartan team. Of course, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame I played for against Jimmy in that 10-10 tie.
Right.
Jimmy's lucky to be alive. He was hit by a car traveling at about 40 miles an hour.
For the Buccaneers, first down at their 24. DeBerg throwing. Rembert was right in his face, and he completed it to Kevin House on the far side. Ronnie Lippett covering. You know, Kevin House was drafted to play baseball by the St. Louis Cardinals. So if you didn't see him this afternoon, you might have seen him tonight.
Perhaps if he were playing for the St. Louis Cardinals, the series would already be over. Berg taking a shot there. Kevin House, though, is a very underrated receiver in this league. He's got all the moves and the speed, and a very intelligent receiver.
Problem with Tampa Bay, and they're very honest in their press release. Press releases are normally very upbeat. They say they can play good offense, they can play good defense. The problem is they've never done it for the same game on the same day. First down at the 40. James Wilder gets perhaps two. Julie Adams came over the top. Dennis Owens was down below, as well as Johnny Rembert and Andre Tippett. So they were all in there.
Len, it's almost as if the strength, the very strength or blood is sapping away from the Buccaneers here. The injuries are beginning to take their toll. You look on the...
And look who's coming off. James Wilder, who missed the series in the first half, comes off again, and Ron Springs replaces him. You would think it would go the other way. The heat of Tampa would work against New England. The fact the Patriots have historically done very poorly on grass. But so far, the advantages are going towards New England. 2nd and 9. Gerald Carter near midfield, close to a first down before he's run out by Raymond Claiborne.
I believe he has the first down, Len. Good play here. The Patriots had a little blitz on, and I think that the Buccaneers are going to have to open it up just a little bit more, and you might see them going to Kevin House, as we talked about at the top of the game. James Wilder just is not getting it done right now. I don't know that he's injured so much as they're just trying to give him a little bit of rest. They know they have a capable replacement in Ron Springs, and even the greatest players such as James Wilder need a rest occasionally.
So it's first down for Steve DeBerg at midfield. 2 interceptions in the first half. One cost him 3 points, the other did not. Play action fake. Plenty of time. Throwing deep for Kevin House, and overthrowing as he had a step on Roland James.
That's one of the things that the Buccaneer coaches told us earlier this week, Len, that the Buccaneers would like to employ some play action passing. Play action, of course, meaning that you first fake the run and then throw the pass. And it's intended to draw the secondary, primarily the linebackers of the Patriot defense, up to stop the run and, in fact, open up the pass lanes. The Tampa has, of course, James Wilder, and he's a great rusher, and most teams try to stop him on the run. So when you fake the run to Wilder and throw the ball instead, there should be some vulnerability there.
He obviously has an injury somewhere, or else he would be in the lineup for sure. 2nd down and 10 at midfield for Tampa Bay. Carter in motion. Ron Springs the replacement for Wilder, gets maybe 3. Steve Nelson and Johnny Remberton on the tackle. And Steve Nelson, of course, the Patriots' leading tackler, but we really haven't mentioned his name too much this afternoon.
Now, he hasn't gotten many calls, but you can't forget Nelly. Even he's slow getting up here now. I'm finding this hard to believe. Steve Nelson, over the years, one of the underrated linebackers. He has been to the Pro Bowl a couple of times, but I've played against him for the better part of a decade, and I can tell you personally, there is no smarter, tougher, grittier inside linebacker in the game. The Randy Gradishars and the Jack Lamberts have gotten all the accolades over the year, and Lambert primarily, I think, because it was a 4-3 linebacker. But Steve Nelson, as fine as inside linebacker, I believe, as there has been in the game over the last half a dozen years or so, Len.
And a classy guy. His charity work in the New England area as well. So, for Tampa Bay, this will be 3rd and 7 at the Patriot 47.
Very important play here, Len. The Bucs have let the momentum that they had early in the game get away from them. Now they've got a nice little drive going. If they can sustain it, they'll be in good shape.
3 wide receivers. Wilder is back at running back. And he drew the Patriots offside. 3 down, but he goes down. Darren Varus may be the man who jumped. So if it is against the Patriots, this will set up a 3rd and 2.
Critical penalty, Len.
And you know, yet another substitution at line, Bob, for Tampa Bay. Joe Sheeran's in at center for Randy Grimes. They have just Steve Courson.
Offside, 56 defense, 3rd down.
This against Tippett.
All right, now you're looking at a 3rd and 2. That's a little more likable from an offensive standpoint. 3rd and 2, you have a lot of options. You can run the ball because it is short yardage. It's less than 3 downs. You can also throw the ball.
3rd and 2 at the 42. The lone back is James Wilder. Jimmy Giles got to the outside of Tippett, but DeBerg couldn't hit him. And the crowd doesn't like that as the Patriots stop the Buccaneers, and Frank Garcia comes on. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
WWLP Springfield.
The fans didn't like that call in the throw, Len, but really that would have taken a perfect throw because Andre Tippett had taken away the angle. He had Jimmy Giles covered perfectly, and only if the quarterback DeBerg had lofted the ball, it could have been completed. But short of that, Jimmy Giles was totally covered.
Garcia gets it away, gets it deep, does not get the corner. It's a touchback, and the Patriots will start at the 20. So Garcia does not get it out of bounds. It goes as a 42-yard punt, but the Patriots will start out with a touchback. They lead Tampa Bay 16-14. A slight rainbow over Tampa Stadium. What's at the end of it? A first-place tie for the Patriots or the first win of the year for Tampa Bay? 1st down and 10 for New England at the 20. The pitch back. Tony Collins on the move. 1st down. Ivory Sully finally caught up with him. All right, let's check out all the scores now. See how the Patriots competition's doing. First of all, the Jets are losing in the 3rd quarter. That's good news for the Patriots. Denver continues to lead Kansas City. It's now 27-10 in the 3rd. Miami continues to trail. We're staring at a first-place 3-way tie if these scores hold up. Chicago over Minnesota. Cleveland's come back with a touchdown against Washington. 1st down for the Patriots now at their 35. James, 3 or 4 yards up to the 39 before Keith Browner could tackle him with help from Cecil Johnson. So the Patriots content to work on the clock. 6:50 remaining 3rd quarter. New England leads it 16-14. Other scores, St. Louis leads Houston 10-6. That game in the 3rd quarter. Dallas has now taken the lead over Atlanta, 17-10 3rd quarter. And Buffalo 17-0 over Philadelphia. How about the Bills? And Indianapolis doing it to Green Bay. 2nd and 7, 38. A flag is down. The completion's made on the far side to Collins. But we'll check out what the penalty is.
Then I believe the penalty is going to be a holding call on the substitute right guard, number 66, Paul Fairchild.
Well, hold up your head, Tom Dooley, and make a call. Miami's come back. Now trail by 3.
Holding, 75, second down.
Holding on the center, Guy Morris. I was watching the right guard, Paul Fairchild, who the play before had gotten a fine block on the run. Looking at number 66 on your screen here. Oh, you're right. Absolutely. It was a center, Guy Morris, holding here, and was getting beat to his right and bulldogged Dave Logan down. Sometimes that's the only way you can stop a man like Logan.
2nd and 17 at the 28. Logan looking for Morgan, who could not hold on near midfield with Ivory Sully behind him. 6 minutes remaining, third quarter now, and it will be 3rd and long for New England.
3rd and 17. Some third period scores.
Len, this is a very important series for the Buccaneers here. Now, they didn't score offensively last time, but they did put together 3 or 4 first downs. And for the first time in a long time today, they have decent field position. Now, on the heels of that, they've had a pretty good defensive stand here, unless the Patriots come up with a very big 16 yards or so on this play.
That's Stanley Morgan. He also has Cedric Jones and Stephen Starring, 3 wide receivers. 3rd and 17 from the 28. Cedric Jones, well short of a first down at the 35. Craig Curry out of Texas covers him.
All right, Len, I begin to sense a little bit of turn in the tide here, a little bit of the momentum shading back to the Buccaneers side. Now, they started out house of fire, jumping up 14-0. Then the Patriots slowly took over the entire ball game, and a dead calm engulfed this stadium. Now, they haven't scored. The Buccaneers haven't scored yet, and they're trailing in the ball game, but they've had a nice offensive series, and now they've defensively shut out. The Patriots are going to get the ball back here with pretty good field position.
Mike Pryor awaits Rich Camarillo's punt. Pryor will have a return at the 24. Not much of one, driven back at the 28. Rod McSwain and Ed Reynolds, among others. So the Buccaneers will get it back, trailing by 2. 5 minutes left, third quarter. The third quarter has not been kind to the Buccaneers this season, as well you can imagine. After all, they have now led 4 times at halftime this year without a win after 4 quarters. James Wilder, and Wilder busts across the 35, close to the 39. Nearly a 10-yard pickup for James Wilder. But now for an update. Let's go to NFL 85, where Ahmad Rashad is standing by. Ahmad, one of your former Killer Bee teammates, Bob Kuchenberg, doing it at the Silverdome. First down at the 39. Here's Wilder. Wilder gets running room to the 44, perhaps a pickup of 5, where he's greeted by Don Blackman. So they're going to their bread and butter man, James Wilder. We're closing in on 4 minutes remaining of the third quarter. The only scoring we have had, a 49-yard field goal here in the third by Tony Franklin that gave the Patriots their first lead of the afternoon. The Buccaneers led 14-0, but now 16 unanswered points by New England. 2nd and 5 for Steve DeBerg and the Buccaneers at their 44. Look how deep James Wilder starts in his backfield. Takes the pitch back. Greeted by Blackman. Blackman gets help from Nelson and Rembert.
Steve Nelson getting in on the tackle late here, Len. You know, your hat goes off to a guy like Steve Nelson. Over the years, just playing with injury and pain, you're going to see him scraping, beating the block by the guard here, coming underneath, and taking away the cutback possibility of James Wilder and actually getting in on the play late. Extra effort by Steve Nelson, and over the years, Nelly has been the heart and soul, and most importantly, the brain of that Patriot defense.
Now he's out on the 3rd and 5 situation as the Patriots go with 5 defensive backs. 3rd and 5 at the 44. DeBerg for Carter, tipped away by Ronnie Lippett. They are trying to work the third-year player from Miami, but so far Lippett has been up to the task.
Excellent coverage by Ronnie Lippett there. He knew exactly where he had to be in position, and the ball could not have been complete because he was on the inside, and wonderful coverage by Ronnie Lippett.
So now Frank Garcia will punt once again Here's Frank. Longest of the year has been a 61-yard boot. That's what he's done today. Irving Fryer is standing in his 10 for New England. Patriots will get the ball back with less than 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
Frank needs to make up for that 24-yarder at the tail end of the first half.
That's the critical play that set up the Patriots touchdown. Good punt by Garcia. Fryer lets it sail into the end zone. So the net will be 20 yards less, but the gross will be a good one. A 56-yard punt. But of course, on the gross, it comes back to 36. When we come back, Patriots ball, they lead it by 2. In the Meadowlands, the Jets have closed to within 7 now of Seattle. Late third quarter, Ken O'Brien, a 16-yard pass to Freeman McNeil. The Dolphins within 3 of Detroit, as Ahmad Rashad told us. First down at the 20 for New England. Completes it to Tony Collins. Collins trying to break free. Collins across the 30, the 40. Collins across midfield. Tony Collins all the way down to the 30. A 60-yard pickup.
Talk about changing field position, losing all your field position. You're going to notice Irving Fryer, number 80, getting a block here on the left-hand side of your screen. We may have already, here it is, coming up right here. Boom! Now this block enables Tony Collins to turn a 15-yard play into a 50-yard play. One of the great qualities about these Patriot receivers, both Irving Fryer and Stanley Morgan, even though they're very talented receivers, they're also willing blockers.
Big gainer by Collins. First down from the 31. Craig James lost it. Patriots have already lost 2 fumbles. They lead the league in that category. And James, you could see a sigh of relief. He fell on it himself.
Let's take a look at why this ball came out, Len. Good pitch. He's got possession of it here. Just turning up. Ross Browner strips him.
Ross's brother Keith.
I'm sorry, Ross Browner. You know, I've got Notre Dame in mind. Keith is from USC, and I try to phase that out.
There are 5 Browners. Joey's in Minnesota. Ross in Cincinnati. 2nd and 10 for 31. And Grogan is sacked by Irvin Randall at the 45.
You see Big John Hanna standing there disgustedly with his hands on his hips. That's because John Hanna's man got that sack. The linebacker came in. John Hanna saw him coming in. I'll tell you what, I'm not sure that John Hanna is over his calf injury. Here you see him, he's got the block, but he doesn't sustain it. Irvin Randall, the rookie linebacker, going through the all-pro John Hanna, almost like he wasn't even there, getting a sack. That hurts. Now you got 3rd and 21. John Hanna's got to be very upset with himself for that play.
Backed up to the 44. Officially the 3rd sack of Grogan this afternoon. He will operate from the shotgun, a 3rd and 23. You're wondering which highlight you will definitely see on the late news tonight. This is it, the play of the game.
Then you don't like to use the word great. It's overused in our industry, but this truly is a great catch.
Outstretched fingertips. 1st and goal at the 8. Craig James, who has thrown for 1, runs for 1.
You see him being embraced there by his running mate, Tony Collins. Collins threw a fine block for his buddy, Craig James. And a little despair there by Keith Browner. The Buccaneers are getting worn down, Len.
Browner gets up slowly after watching Craig James scamper 8 yards. There's Browner in a grasp, and James gets across the goal line. Craig James throwing for a touchdown, running for a touchdown. And now Tony Franklin, who has not missed an extra point in his 2-year Patriots career, can give New England a 9-point advantage. So a drive which featured a 49-yard catch and run by Tony Collins, a 36-yard catch by Morgan. James takes it in.
They've tried, but they just don't have much left.
We will see what is left, as we'll have a second kick. Franklin kicks it out of bounds and incurs a 5-yard penalty. So he will try again, this time backed up to his 30. The Patriots historically have not done well on natural grass. Of course, all their home games are on artificial turf, and so a combination of road games and grass has given them just a .326 percentage over 10 years.
That compared to a winning percentage of 63%, I believe, on artificial turf. But that can be a misleading figure. One of the reasons they're only .326 on artificial turf is they've played a lot of those games in the Miami Orange Bowl, and that's not an easy place for a visiting team to win.
You see the Bucs kept the Patriots scoreless the first. The Patriots have kept the Buccaneers scoreless since. We are opening minute of the fourth quarter. 23-14 New England over Tampa Bay. He missed the ball.
His shoe is missing. I think his shoe must have got stuck in the mud and caused him to miss the ball.
Bucs are claiming he hit the ball, and that's why it went off the tee, and it should be a recovery. They're going to let him kick it again.
That's what you call a whiff.
And I wonder what Larry Cuban was saying to Tony Franklin there. You imagine if he had nudged the ball and the Buccaneer picked it up and ran for a touchdown.
That's right. That reminds me of my golf game. Hopefully that would occur on the first hole.
Right. Well, 2 strikes. They ruled no kick, no touch. So Franklin will try once again. It's one of the funnier highlights of the day.
We couldn't see it from this angle then, but perhaps the wind blew the ball off the tee just before the impact occurred.
You can hurt yourself doing that.
Sure can.
He kicked it. Inbounds.
He hit it, yes.
And into the end zone and out. Franklin normally does not kick it into the end zone when going from the 35. Here he does it from the 30. Today's game is brought to you by 14:42 remaining in the fourth quarter. Sun is peekabooing in and out of the clouds. The Patriots lead the Buccaneers 23-14. Steve DeBerg, a fine first quarter. He's struggled since with the offense. That one's ruled no good for Kevin House. Everything is going against Tampa Bay, and you may have noticed Steve Nelson get a hand on DeBerg as he went flying by. There's a little tackle play.
Big Lester Williams coming in and getting a quarterback after he threw the ball.
2nd and 10 at the 20.
Len, if the Bucs are going to get back in this ball game, I'm afraid it's going to be with Kevin House.
James Wilder the call. Julie Adams drags him down for a loss in the backfield. And the Patriot defense is swarming, led by the old guy, the oldest defensive lineman in football, 37-year-old Julie Adams.
Then I've played against Julie, the Jewel, many times over his career and my career. And I'll tell you what, early in his career, he was a very underrated ball player and also a fine gentleman. This is his last year of his career, and the Jewel, number 85, will retire in 85, and he'd like to go out with a playoff campaign.
A 2-yard loss for Wilder. 3rd and 12 at the 18 as the Buccaneers come with 3 wide receivers. Motion left side.
That's your buddy from Massachusetts, isn't it?
I believe it's on Ken Kaplan.
Start, 79 offense, 3rd down.
That's Ken Kaplan incurring the penalty.
Watching the left side of your screen, number 79 in orange here, moving just a little bit early.
Again, because of an injury to George Yarno, it's a makeshift offensive line for the Buccaneers. 3rd and 17 from the 13. They need the Patriots 30.5 for a first down. This is dangerous territory. Remember the Super Bowl on this field? Theismann throwing down at this end, and Jack Squirick, the linebacker, took it in for a touchdown. Super Bowl 18. DeBerg throwing from near his end zone. McSwain tipped it away as it was intended for Theo Bell. Rod McSwain, the second-year man from Clemson, gets a pat on the helmet from Raymond Claiborne.
Broken up by Rod McSwain. 4th down. Frank Garcia, 55 for Tampa Bay.
Fine play by McSwain. Len, the momentum is just stacking up here against the Bucs now, and they're punting from their own 13-yard line. They're punting into a wind. The Patriots should get the ball back, perhaps even in Tampa Bay territory.
Patriots defense has allowed one long drive early in the game, and that's it. The second touchdown was the result of a turnover. The Patriots defense has come to the fore this afternoon. Short kick. Patriots in great shape as it bounces near the 40. And the Patriots will get first down at the Buccaneer 40 after just a 27-yard punt by Frank Garcia. The crowd unhappy once again, as well they might be. The Patriots, with a 9-point lead, will be in business once again thanks to this short punt from Frank Garcia. We'll be back to Tampa in just a minute. Lead the Jets 14-7 in the fourth, and Detroit now leads Miami by 10 in the fourth quarter. Things are looking good for the Patriots. First down at the Tampa Bay 40. The pitch back to Tony Collins. James in front. Collins hurdles and out of bounds on the far side, short of a first down.
Len, you can bet your boots that the Patriots are well aware that the Jets and the Dolphins are both losing. It's a very enjoyable time right on the sideline now on the Patriot bench. They started out in the hole. They're coming down. They know they haven't played well on the road. They haven't played well on grass. They've had an inconsistent first half of the season. They've come back. They fought their way out of the hole. They've now got control of this ball game. And as a boost, you've got both of your competitors losing. Very exciting time for the Patriots right now.
Second and inches. Will they go for all of it or just a part of it? They keep it simple. But James turns it into a good gainer inside the 20. Ivory Sully on the tackle. With 5 minutes and 50 seconds left in the first quarter, Tampa Bay led 14-0. Their first 14-0 lead of the year. At halftime for the fourth game in 8, they led again 14-13. But it is all Patriots. It's 23-14 New England, and they want more. First down at the Tampa Bay 18. Collins. And still gets a yard out of it. David Logan. Quiet second half for Logan. In on the stop along with Irvin Randall.
All right, even though the odds are stacking up against the Bucs, the great players really never quit. They never give up. Dave Logan is a great player. Here you see him beating the center one-on-one. Now the blocking back, Craig James comes back to try to stop him. He keeps on going, beats two tacklers, and makes the play. That's why Dave Logan, many people call Dave Logan the best nose tackle in the game today.
He took on 3 Patriots in one play. There's Tony Collins for 55 yards. Again, no Patriot this year has rushed for 100 yards in a game. Craig James had 94 last week. Second and 9 at the 17. Finds Lynn Dawson short of a first down. Finally wrestled down by Larry Kubin.
Now you think the life of a nose tackle is fun, Lynn. Here you got, watch Randy Logan, Dave Logan here, trying to beat the center. He did it. Now there's John Hanna waiting for him. Now he's bouncing him back to Morris. Boom, boom, boom. You know, it's discouraging because you're double teamed and sometimes triple teamed. Even if you are good enough and fortunate enough to beat your center, you're only going to be running into more trouble when those guards are standing around waiting for you to come through the center.
3rd and 3 for New England at the Tampa Bay 11. That's what the linebackers look at. Grogan throwing in the end zone. Derek Ramsey could not hold on. The defensive play by David Greenwood, who's down on both knees. There's David. So Tony Franklin will come on for New England to try to increase the Patriots' lead to 12 points.
Len, I think that ball could have been caught. It would have been a difficult catch. It was thrown over his shoulder a little bit, but I thought that he might catch a ball. Taking a look at this pass here, you're going to see John Hanna. There was a safety blitz, 44. Ivory Sully blitzed there, but John Hanna picked him up. Here's the catch. That ball should have been caught. I think it bounced off his left ear pad.
28-yard field goal attempt, Tony Franklin, and he missed it. Franklin had made them from 35, 49, and 50, but he shanks a 28-yard attempt, and the Buccaneers continue to trail it by 9. So we'll be back, 11 minutes remaining, the Patriots on top. 11 minutes remain. The Patriots lead Tampa Bay 23-14. The Buccaneers trying to put something together. First down at their 20. Bell in motion. Berg fires and completes a tough pass to Giles, short of a first down with Nelson covering. Tippett has a few words.
Giles thought Andre Tippett was hitting him a little bit unnecessary. Steve Nelson here, the linebacker we've talked quite a lot about today on pass coverage. His responsibility is Jimmy Giles. Here you're going to see him covering Giles. He does a good job of holding him up right here. DeBerg has to hesitate, a little grab, a little jersey there. That's not quite legal. Nelson almost breaks up the play, but a fine catch. And I think that was unnecessary. I think Giles had a right to be upset with Andre Tippett on that play.
Well, it was an 8-yard gain. That'll be tough for a linebacker when you see a tight end at 240 yards flying out at you. This is 2nd and 8 at the 28 for Tampa Bay. Wilder, flag down. First down if the flag is against New England. Might have been Jimmy Giles on motion. Roland James and Ronnie Lippett, defensive backs for the Patriots. And this play is coming back. The Jets have closed to within 4 on a Pat Leahy 41-yard field goal.
Offsides, offense, second down.
So instead of 2nd and 2 and instead of a first down, it'll be 2nd and 7. Denver still continues to lead Kansas City rather handily. Detroit with that 10-point lead over Miami. The Patriots host Miami next week. Chicago continues to lead Minnesota. No scores yet for the refrigerator. Washington 14-7 over Cleveland. St. Louis over Houston. Dallas leading Atlanta 17-10. And Buffalo trying to hold off Philadelphia. 2nd and 7 at the 22. DeBerg, a hit by Rembert after the completion to Jerry Bell. So tight defense. They picked up a few yards nonetheless.
Good solid tackle that time, Len, by Johnny Rembert. He's playing for the injured Larry McGrew, and there really is not much of a drop-off. As we said earlier, Rembert's played a lot of football over the years for these Patriots, and the coaches have no problem with Johnny Rembert playing.
Another Florida youngster, grew up in Arcadia, Florida. Indianapolis, doing it to Green Bay in the interconference game. AFC teams are leading the NFC teams today. Dallas now has added another touchdown. All right, an important play here. Our score is 23-14. This is 3rd and 1 at the 29. Tampa Bay desperately needs a first down, and Wilder does not give it to him. Blackman the first hit, Roland James the second one. An important defensive surge by the Patriots on 3rd and 1.
Fine play by the outside linebacker, Don Blackman. You're going to notice Don Blackman on the left-hand side of your screen getting penetration, beating the block of the tight end, Jerry Bell, making the play, denying James Wilder the necessary yardage. And I'll tell you, Lynn, when Don Blackman is healthy, along with Andre Tippett, that's as fine a pair as outside linebackers as there is in the game today.
That's high praise. Garcia will punt once again. This time he is not in his end zone. But Irving Fryer, again at his 30, will have some running room for New England. They have time. The 30-second clock is still only at 10. A bad snap. Hit the ground. Short kick. Fryer elects to watch it as it rolls dead at the Patriots' 36. So with 8 minutes and 19 seconds remaining, and with a few more boos coming out from the crowd after a 35-yard punt from a struggling Frank Garcia today. And look at the snap here.
Yeah, the punter fields it on the second hop there. It's what you call a worm burner. And he knows he's got to get rid of the ball a little quicker here now and does not meet the ball nicely at all. And Garcia is having a rough day, Lynn.
Next week, many of you will see the sold-out game in Foxborough, Miami and New England. Also Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Buffalo, Kansas City, Houston. Those are our early games next week. First down for New England, they're 36. Straight ahead. Craig James, flag down. Cecil Johnson on the tackle. Holding against New England. And late games next week on NFL 85. Raiders Seattle looks like a good one. Denver, San Diego. Jets and Indianapolis. The Colts look good today. Well, full slate of games.
Holding, 75 offense, first down.
Guy Morris again, the substitute center for Pete Brock. So this sets up a 1st and 20 for New England back at their 26. And as we noted earlier, Morris did get several starts last year for Brock. Brock undergoing the arthroscopic knee surgery this week on 2 knees. The first report said he'd only be out 2 or 3 weeks, and then Raymond Berry came back and said that's slightly optimistic. Inside of 8 minutes remaining now. Patriots lead Tampa Bay 23-14. Short pass to Collins, has blockers in front of him. Collins, who did one for 50 earlier on a similar play. This one picks up about 14 yards out to the 40, well short of a first down. Ivory Sully, David Greenwood collapsing on Collins.
Len, I like the call. It's first down and a lot of yardage to go. A screen pass in this instance is a good call. Watching John Haniger, the left guard, faking the pass protection, delaying 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 go. And now a lot of times, even though he doesn't get his block here, you'll see him miss the block. He still is such an imposing hulk out there that the poor little skinny defensive backs kind of shudder and are unable to make the play. So good yardage in spite of the fact that John didn't get his block there.
2nd and 6 at the 41. Collins scrambles forward after stop. Still short of a first down. He has logged 108 yards receiving today, Tony Collins. 6 receptions. Big one, that 50-yarder.
That was a very important play, Len. It got the Patriots out of a deep hole and gave them good field position, which they've maintained throughout the remainder of the second half.
So now 3rd and 5, an obvious throwing down, so the Tampa Bay defense counters with 5 defensive backs. And Grogan, in turn, counters with a shotgun offense. Here they come. Curry nails Grogan. The pass is complete anyway. All the way down to the 20 to Fryer. And there's no way Grogan saw it was complete. He was clotheslined by Craig Curry. Still got it out to Fryer for a 39-yard gain.
That's exciting, Len. You hit it on the head. He did not have any idea this pass was completed. It took a lot of courage, but that's his middle name. He knows he's going to pay the price. You get the safety blitz with Ivory Sully, number 44, coming in there. Ooh, boom, that has to hurt. He's going to feel that one tomorrow, but in the meantime, he'll get a little bit of a savor out of this. Fine throw and catch. Irving Fryer with outstanding speed, just running down the field, running. What Grogan did so well, there was loft the ball, which enabled the man with tremendous speed, Irving Fryer, to run under the ball.
1st and 10 at the 23. Craig James across the 20, 15. Craig James, touchdown, his 3rd of the day, 2nd rushing.
Icing on the cake, Len. The Patriots are gathering strength as they have.
Tony Collins either said, good job, or you should have let me do it. One or the other.
I think he may have been saying, did you see the block that I threw for you there, man? Don't forget that now. Tell the coach about that. Let's see if Tony Collins gets a block for his running mate there.
Oh, he's out there.
Didn't have to.
He just watched it.
Maybe the Bucs thought that James was going to lateral to Collins, so they were guarding Collins. Anyway, fine cutback by Craig James. Good line blocking that time by Hanna and Holloway. And as I started to say, the Buccaneers are gathering strength just as they have for the last 2 weeks going into 3.
Tony Franklin makes it an even 30. So now 30 unanswered points. 2 touchdowns rushing, 1 throwing for Craig James. They are starting to leave as 0-8 is a distinct reality with 5:21 remaining in this one. For Craig James so far, 96 yards rushing. He bids to become the first Patriot this year to rush for 100.
He may make it. Len, I think I know what Tony Collins was telling Craig James there, shaking his head. Craig probably said to Tony, oh, great block, Tony, thanks a lot, I needed it. And Tony was probably saying, are you kidding? I didn't have to block anybody. I didn't touch anybody, and nobody stopped you.
The play I will remember from this game is the shot that Grogan took before the touchdown. Still completed 39 yards to Fryer. Lehman Bennett alone with his thoughts. But earlier this week after the naked bootleg, Raymond Berry described Grogan in the same breath with names like Johnny Unitas and names like Bobby Lane for guts and character and leadership. And taking the lick he took a few moments ago and still completing the pass, you can see why Berry spoke in such glowing terms of his veteran quarterback.
And he does take a lick here. He knows it. Boom, right there. He knows he's going to get hit. He follows through with the ball, and that's what makes the play. Not only does that put points on the board, Len, but what that does, come Tuesday morning, when they review the films, his teammates will give him a lot of credit for that play. They know that he knew that he was going to take the punishment, but there's a lot of camaraderie there and admiration.
Phil Freeman had the right idea the first time. He should have kept his knee down. Cedric Jones covers.
When it rains, it pours, Len.
And now the Buccaneers backed way back inside their 5. Looked awfully good for the Buccaneers in the first quarter when they opened up that 14-0 lead. But since offensively, defensively, special teams, it's been all New England, and the crowd boos a bit as Steve DeBerg does come on to quarterback for the final 5 minutes and 10 seconds.
You know, Len, talking about the courage that Grogan exhibited today, and particularly in that pass, knowing that he was going to get punished, that inspires his teammates. As I said, in the film session come Tuesday morning, they're all going to take their hats off to Grogan. He's been their leader over the years. They know his courage, and his experience is going to help them in their drive for the playoffs.
And Steve Young will have to wait another week to quarterback. Ron springs the handoff in place of Wilder, and you have to wonder, the Patriots are optimistically thinking that Tony Eason might be ready within a week or so. When he is ready, there's no way you can take out a Steve Grogan, although Berry says he'll make the decision when the time comes.
Well, I think that's what a diplomatic head coach would say, that he'll make the decision when the time comes. In my opinion, you're looking at the starting quarterback of the Patriots for the next few games, barring injuries.
Inside of 5 minutes now, as we show you a few more scores. Look, Houston's taken the lead over St. Louis. It's a big AFC day against the NFC. Here and in St. Louis, and in the Green Bay-Indianapolis game as well. DeBerg for Giles, broken up by Marion. And he's turned in a sparkling game. Marion helped out by Roland James.
He sure has, Len. Fred Marion's played a fine ball game today. A couple of key deflections and one big interception that saved the touchdown and turned the ball over. And perhaps Fred Marion's excited about playing in the state that he played his collegiate ball.
So this will be a 3rd and call it 7 from the 5-yard line for Tampa Bay with 4.5 minutes remaining in this apparent Patriots victory, which would be their 3rd straight win. 30-14 New England. And we'll have a flag. And while they sort out the flag, I'd like to remind you that next Saturday, it's the season premiere of the PBA Fall Tour.
Ball start, 68 offense. Third down.
Goes against Rick Mallory. If you like bowling, the Fall Tour coming to NBC Sports, the Kodak Invitational. It follows the Breeders' Cup. 4:30 Eastern Time after the $10 million Breeders' Cup. And after next Saturday, there'll be 5 more weeks of the Fall Tour, all at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. So if you like bowling, NBC's your spot this November.
39.
So now it is 3rd and 9 for what has been a hapless Tampa Bay team since early in the first quarter. DeBerg, sack, 2 points. Don Blackman, his 2nd safety of the year. And now it's 32 unanswered points.
Well, Phil, Len, if you're a Patriot fan, you're very happy to see this man back. Taking a look at it from the end zone, you're going to see number 55 come in from the left-hand side of your screen, beating his blocker, taking his blocker right with him, Ken Kaplan, right with him into the quarterback. And as I said, if you're a Patriot fan, you're mighty happy to see big Don Blackman back playing healthy.
He was not expected to start today. He missed 2 weeks. Steve Young still has his helmet off. And now a free kick will emanate from the Tampa Bay 20. And the Patriots can choose to just try to roll it up if they want. It's now 32-14 New England. You know, as soon as the Patriots had that crucial victory against the Jets last Sunday, the Patriots and their coaches started talking immediately. Let's not get overconfident. It's an important game with Tampa Bay. It's a game we've lost over the years. We usually beat the teams we're supposed to lose to and vice versa. And hasn't worked out. It's worked all New England this afternoon, 32-14.
That's right, Len. The Patriot coaches told us early on that they've gone out of their way this week to keep the Patriots from being overconfident because they're playing against a winless team. And the Patriots, of course, have done an excellent job of playing good, consistent football today.
Garcia will punt for Tampa Bay.
Irving Fryer deep. Garcia will punt it away. 4:24 remaining in the fourth quarter. And what else is new? It is not a happy day for Frank Garcia. Some of his teammates try to give him a pat anyway.
Do you suppose, Lynn, that he was rushed in that kick?
Hit a free kick, no rushers, and he kicked it away from his 20. Well, it went out of bounds, and he got a break. He'll have to kick it again.
He sure did. Maybe that was part of his strategy.
If he kicks it out of bounds the second time, the Patriots have the option of taking it where it went out of bounds.
Yeah.
Maybe Garcia did it on purpose.
I think he did.
Out of bounds. So this will back him up. 5. He's got to back up, yeah. Back it up to the 15. The Jets have just taken the lead on Seattle. Ken O'Brien, 15 yards to Wesley Walker with 5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. So the Patriots will not have a share of first place. That's a better kick.
He's going to have plenty of room to return it, though.
Fryer, flag down. Fryer to the 48. We should get a hold here against New England, or an illegal hands.
A hold or a clip or an illegal block from behind.
Maybe Garen Veras. Let's see. Clock is stopped with 4 minutes and 6 seconds to go. It is 32-14 New England.
Offsides, kicking team, delay number 65, a delay on the fair catch, running with the ball. On receiving team, we have a replay.
Oh, this is a punting clinic from Garcia. Garcia says, I want no part of this.
Another replay. They can't get started if they want to.
A delayed fair. Did he start to signal fair catch and then run with it? Or?
You know what? That's a new one on me. I really don't know what the penalty was. It was a delay, and I really don't know how. This is bordering on embarrassing for Mr. Garcia. On the other hand, they are getting plenty of kick coverage drilling here.
I don't think they want the practice. Fryer apparently gave the fair catch signal and then ran with it, which is a penalty. Fryer gives no signal and runs with it at the 35. So on the third try, he gets it back to where he got it the second time. And any flags? I don't see any flags. And hopefully that play will stand. Frank Garcia is going to ice down his knee, I think.
And I see no injuries.
So now, with 3:56 remaining in the fourth quarter, Patriots about to go to a 5-3 record with their third consecutive win, showing they can win on grass and in the heat.
The New York Jets 17, Seattle 14.
Mosey to Tupu in the backfield with Robert Weathers. So unless Craig James can get those other 4 yards, still no Patriot will rush for 100 this season yet. Pitch back to Weathers. Stays in bounds. Clock continues to run. Pick up a 4 to the 46. 3:45 remaining and counting. Cecil Johnson on the tackle. I wonder if they know on the sideline that Craig James is as close as he is to 100 yards. Those fans certainly don't really care.
Lynn, do you suppose those fans are heading to the beach? I think the weather is good enough for it, and it's about the best thing that can happen to them today, huh?
That's where the Cincinnati Reds train, right next door at Al Lopez Field.
The Senor Al Lopez.
2nd and 6 at the 46. To Tupu, close to a first down at the 40. And it is a first down for New England. And the clock's still running. 2:50 remaining. It's Tupu happy to get a call on either first or second down. It's usually third or fourth for him. Looks like Craig James will stay out, resting on his 15 carries for 96 yards, 2 touchdowns rushing, and 1 throwing. Touchdown pass to Tony Collins. Second time they've done it this year. Logan taking a snap from Guy Morris. To Tupu. 2 or 3. And the Patriots do not have to get off another play before the 2-minute warning unless the Buccaneers take a timeout. 2:15 remaining. And that'll be the case. We will wind down to the 2-minute warning with the Patriots leading the Buccaneers 32-14. So that is the story here in Tampa. We're at the 2-minute warning. What was a 14-0 Tampa Bay lead is a 32-14 deficit. The Patriots on their back in Tampa Bay. Len Berman with Bob Kuchenberg. 2 minutes remaining. And if you're wondering, yes, that's the most points the Patriots have scored this season. They notched 26 opening day against Green Bay, but have struggled offensively since, as there are not many fans left here at Tampa Stadium. We had a crowd of roughly 40,000. They seat 74. In the late 70s, they would sell out with regularity, but with the way this team is going, hasn't happened.
Well, Len, the Patriots have come back with 32 unanswered points, as you pointed out. They haven't done it in what you would call a spectacular fashion, but in a very convincing fashion. They were patient to grind away at it and pick their spots, and they've played today like a championship caliber ball club.
This is a 2nd and 8 for New England. Weathers runs into a crowd, gets inside the 35, and he's stacked up short, which will set up a 3rd and 5. And more importantly, the clock continues to run with just 1:45 remaining, and Tampa Bay has no thoughts of stopping it. Here's what our story has been. Tampa Bay took a quick 14-0 lead. Steve Grogan fumble was in the middle there. The Patriots have come back. Look at that, 32 points and shutting out Tampa Bay for 3 quarters. And Miami has lost. So the Patriots will at least be tied with Miami, at the very least, 1 game back of the Jets, should New York hold on. Tupu does not get a first down, which means next Sunday at sold-out Sullivan Stadium, the Patriots and Dolphins will both come in 5-3. Miami losing to Detroit 31-21, so it'll be a battle of 2 at least second-place teams at 5-3. The Jets were in their 4th quarter, and they were leading Seattle at last look.
And believe me, I can tell you, Len, that the Dolphins are not looking forward to going up to Foxborough being tied with the Patriots. It's going to be a long week for the Dolphins in Miami this week.
A timeout has been taken. We'll take a timeout as well. New England firmly in control. Are we back? Back in Tampa, the Patriots ran off a quick 4th down play, did not make the first down. And with 19 seconds remaining in the game, Tampa Bay will come back on the field. Tampa Bay faces the prospect of going to New Jersey next week to play the Giants as they start the second half. And they will be 0-8, continuing as the only winless team in the NFL. Lehman Bennett may be asking himself, why did John McKay retire and choose me?
Len, I can tell you what's going through the minds of the Dolphins right now. They've lost up in Detroit. They've struggled the last couple of weeks, and once again they find themselves in the familiar, all too familiar situation of having to go up to Foxborough to play a Patriot team that's been playing well and dominating people and is tied with the Dolphins.
And a fine grab over on the far side made by Kevin House. 10 seconds remaining. The Bucs don't stop the clock and half-heartedly run up to the line of scrimmage. And now a whistle with just 7 seconds left. So now we will take a commercial timeout and then come back for the final 7 seconds of this Patriots victory over the Buccaneers. can take solace in that his team did play a good first quarter, but it's been dreadful for him in the last 3.
It's been downhill, Len, but my heart goes out to Lehman Bennett. He's a true gentleman, and it's really the test of a man's character to go through what he's going through right now. You see in the background his injured offensive coordinator, Jimmy Ray. It's been a long day and a long season for these guys.
7 seconds to go. Flag is thrown. DeBerg is sacked, but if the flag's against New England, the game would not be over. And I believe it is against New England. And the clock is stopped with 1 second to go anyway. So either way, we'll have another play.
Offsides defense, illegal motion, offense, replay, first down.
So this will be, barring penalty, the last play of this one. A terrific catch by Stanley Morgan. The catch and run by Tony Collins. The 3 touchdowns by Craig James. The hit that Grogan took before he completed a pass to Irving Fryer. Those are the big plays in this one. And fittingly for the